Hello fellow art lovers. I have a little tutorial that I wanted to share with you. My name is Jessica Tamburello and I work at the Compassion Factory. I'm here in our studio space. I am going to show you how to make scratch boards. This is a fun project we've actually done here a couple times. Super easy for a lot of different age groups. Younger kids obviously will need a little help from the parents, but this is a great project to do with your kids of different ages. So it's a pretty inexpensive project. You're gonna need some crayons. I'm gonna use black tempura paint today, but you can also use acrylic. You're gonna need a little soap, a little container to mix it in. You're gonna need a paintbrush and then some scratching tools. And I've got a couple different options that I'll show you. And then you're gonna need a paper. I'm using just a thicker, a little bit, almost like a cardstock paper. The thicker it is will be helpful because you will be using paint on your paper, and obviously the thinner it is, the harder, the more flimsy it'll become. So your first step is I cut my paper into smaller pieces. I figured it'd be a little bit easier, a little bit more fun for the kids to have smaller pieces of paper to use, and then they can make as many as they want. I taped mine to a piece of cardboard just to kind of help with the mess and then to keep my paper in one spot. And all you're gonna do is you're gonna take your crayons and you're going to just color it in. In any different fashion. You can do a pattern, you can do random. You've got a lot of options to do this. I'm going to show you, I have a separate board that I kind of created, and I just did different patterns on each piece of paper just to kind of give you an idea of what you can make. You can all use different colors, and then so as you can see, the older kids will do more of a pattern and younger kids may do more of just random colorings in certain spots. So the next step is you're going to take your container and your paint, and you're just gonna fill it a good amount, so a couple tablespoons, and then you're going to take your soap and I'm just gonna do a couple pumps to get that into my black paint and mix it. You want it to be still the consistency, because you're using tempura paint. It's already a pretty thin paint to start with. So this is where you just kind of go back and forth and get it to be a little bit of a thicker consistency. Once you have your paint the way that you like, you're just going to take it and brush it on over your coloring. So you can see my paint is just covering my crayon colors. So if it's not, just add a little bit more paint, do a quick little mix, and then go again. So you're just going to cover literally the entire piece of paper. And the reason why the cardboard is so helpful is it kind of contains the mess a little bit, and then by taping it, it helps keep that paper in a stationary spot, so you're not fighting against it, especially with kids. You need 85 hands to help them. So doing multiple pieces to a cardboard helps as well, or you can just do one at a time. So once you get your crayon color paper covered with your tempura paint and your soap mixture, you're gonna let it dry. And depending on how thick you put it on, depends on how long it'll take to dry. But once you do, it's going to look like this, and now it's going to be this fun scratch board that you can just kind of draw little pictures. So I'm going to show you a couple different pieces of wood that you can use to kind of help scratch off that paint, and now you've got your scratch board. So these are wooden dowels that you can actually order, super inexpensive, but you don't have to. You can also use toothpicks or skewers, and they work just as well, or even wooden popsicle sticks. These have to push a little bit harder because it doesn't have that fine tip, but obviously any tool that you have at home will work. And then that is it. So these are great easy project to do with multiple ages, and then they're fun for possibly car rides or bringing to the restaurant, but just different fun ideas that you can do with everyday materials that you have in your home. I hope you enjoyed.